Okay, I want to introduce 3 ways of making the KPI cards in the Tableau. But before we heading into it, a couple of things I wanted to mention. I wanted to color the tabs just to distinguish the line, the chart type for the later use. And then these are the bar charts. Another thing is, for the value here, the default aggregation is sum, but we use we use average for most of the time. So I'm just gonna change the default aggregation for it under the default properties, and then the aggregation goes to average. So now when I double click this field, it's actually changed to the average. Just gonna do the same for the 2020 value and 2021. Okay, then now I wanted to create the cards. Still for the type of unit, put in the column, fit width, and then I wanted to show the value. I wanted to show the value for the 2021. Also, I wanted to show the difference between 2021 and 2020, just to show a trending. Let's create a calculated field here. Let's just call it 2021 versus 2020. And this is just calculating the percentage difference, the difference percentage. So put this into the text and actually format number to percentage, and I only want the 1 decimal place. I also want to put the type of unit at the very bottom so I can just hide these headers. And then I don't want tooltip. Just gonna format the text here. So this number is the current year number. I wanted to make it big and nice and bold. Okay. And then just adding some information here. This is comparing with 2020. You see for all of these ones, they are actually aligned to the right. I'm just gonna adjust it to align to the center. So right click on the cell and then goes to format. Second one is for the alignment. Change it to middle. Okay, there. I also wanted to give a little bit of coloring, so still gonna use the comparison calculation here, put it into the color and edit the colors. I'm gonna choose the red and yellow, make it a stepped color, but only with 2 steps, and then make sure it centers at 0. So now if it's trending up, it's a green. If it's trending down, it'll be red. I can also remove the lines, the axis line here. Under format, borders. Oh, actually it's the lines, the row. Oh, here. That's it. So what if I wanted to show I wanted to give the user a little bit of control over the year they wanted to see the data. So for example, because in this one, I'm forced the calculation to show 2021 and then comparing it with the 2020 data. But I can also give the user control so that they can see, oh, maybe I want to see the data from 2019. To do that, I can just create a parameter. Just call it selected year. It's going to be the integer. Current value, let's put 2021. And it can be a range. So the minimum number for the year in this data was 1948. And then the maximum was 2021. Notice that the display, under the display format, this number really doesn't look like a year. It really just like a 2000 something. I can change the format here under the custom. Just put 0. There. Now it looks more like a year number. Let's show this parameter. And then it's defaulted as a slider, but I don't want it. I want to type in. Okay, to incorporate the parameter, I will need to do more. I'll need to use the calculated field. But in this case, because we already have these three calculations, I'm just gonna simply update these ones. So let's say this is the selected year. Drag this one here. This one to the prior year. -1. It's in this calculation, you notice the name is already being updated, so I can just change the name here. Selected year versus the prior year. So now if I change to 2020, you see it's comparing the number with actually the previous year. So let's change this. It's comparing to the 2019, and then you see some marks in red because those are the trending down. Now, I want to add one more thing into this. So notice the trending mark here. Instead of just a simple percentage change, I wanted to show a triangle to determine it's trending up or down. To do that, goes to the browser here. We can just simply search the triangle marks, and then it's gonna pop up a lot of the option here. So I can just copy this one for the trending up. And the way we can do it is under the number format, goes to the custom, and then this one, we can just put the marks in there. And then use the semicolon to input the format for the negative numbers. This is trending down. And 0, 0. Here. Now it looks a little bit nicer. Let's just give it a name. This is a quick way to do the cards because say I have a 6 types of the units, and then this way I'm just simply created 6 cards at the same time. I want to just adjust the units here. Just put it on the top. That looks better. Back to 2021. Okay, the second way to do the chart to do the card is sometimes we may want to show some charts in the background for the cards, but the cards, they always have very limited space, so I can create a simple line graph or the area graph in this case, but because we're gonna have very limited space for the KPI cards, I will not show any of the labels. Rather, I'll put them in the tooltip. So let's do it. The value and the date. Change it to the quarter. Make it like the last 3 years. Edit the axis. I don't need it to include the 0, so check that box, and then you see the lines shifted, and actually this way we use the space more effective. Don't show this axis. Change that to the area chart. That's a little bit nicer. So try put same idea. This time I'm gonna put the use the title to create the card. So I need to add those information into the view. So I'm just gonna use the detail here. These are gonna be the information I need. And for the type of unit. But this case, I can only create the card for one type of unit each time. It's not like the first cards we had. We can just simply create the cards for all. This time we have to do it one by one. Insert the type of the unit and select the year versus prior year. Align to the middle. This I want it to be big and nice. Okay, now we actually run into a problem. You see the second line here is actually giving a range. However, we wanted the number, a single number. Same thing for the prior year here. This trending mark is null. This is the reason for it is in the selected year calculation, it's considering the year of the ref date. But when we bring that into the view, there is another date restriction is in this columns. That's the quarter. So for Tableau, when it's computing the view, it's actually taking the calculation first, then it's calculating based on what it has on the columns and the row. So this number is actually the range for the quarterly value for that year. To fix this, I'm gonna need to do a calculated field. with the level of detail calculation. Just gonna simply duplicate this. Hello D. Okay, this case I actually wanted to when it's doing the calculation, I wanted to exclude consideration for the quarter, so I'm using this level of detail calculation. Remember to close it. Now it's actually telling me the level of detail expression must be aggregated. So let's aggregate the value here. Average should be good. And put this on top of the selected one. Don't worry about this none here. Let's do it for the prior year. Just duplicate this one. Then we're gonna need to calculate the difference. Duplicate this one. Because we already put the average aggregation in the two level detail calculations, so I'm just gonna remove the average from here. Just put selected year LOD. Same thing here for the prior year LOD. Now let's put it here. It's reporting the missing fields. Okay. You see the trending mark is actually being carried over because when I was when I was creating the comparison LOD comparison, I just simply duplicate the previous one, so all the properties, all the settings from the previous one is actually being carried over. Okay, I don't really like the grid line in the background, so let's just get a little bit format here. There. So this one, I'm just gonna call it apartment unit type. So this card is actually looking good, but there's one issue here. When I goes to 2020, I'm missing that comparison here. The reason is the prior year now is 2019, which is like 4 years from now. But in my reference date filter, I limited it to 3 years. A way to fix this one is to create another calculation field. So 3 years, say I want to just show limited to 3 years before the selected year. So date add year and then selected year. This is a parameter. Okay, this is not going to work because the selected year is the integer. So just change this one to the ref date. Let's do the date chunk actually. Date chunk. So that's taking the year part of the ref date minus greater than selected year minus 3. See if this is gonna work. So I can remove the ref date filter from here. (2018). Oh yeah, right. Because I'm at the selected as the 2020. If it's a 2021, 2021, 2019 as the two years ago actually. That's 2 years ago. Just change the name. There. Okay. Well, now this is fixed. Heading to the third method of creating the card. It's gonna be looks pretty much similar to the first method, but there is a little bit of difference in the functions. Still, for the type of unit, I have to select a single type apartment for this time, and then this time I'm gonna use this space to demonstrate the card information. Okay, still the selected year information, and then the comparison across the 2 year. But this time Okay, let's duplicate this one. The reason I wanted to duplicate this is because I want to get rid of the number formatting, the triangles from the number formatting. Because if I'm changing it from the original field, it's gonna impact the other the 3 cards I created. I don't want that, so I just duplicate this field. So this time I'm gonna show the trending marks in a little bit a different way. Let's create calculated field based on this one. So let's call it trending up. If the difference is greater than 0, then I can put this mark as the text in the calculation, which is the beauty of the Tableau. And duplicate this one. I'm gonna create one for trending down. So this time I'm gonna put these 2 trending in here. You see that the 2 triangle marks actually been separated into 2 fields. When it's a trending up, this trending down the value in the trending down will be null, so it's not gonna show anything. The reason I wanted to do it this way is because I want the marks, the trending up triangle, to be green, and then the trending down triangle to be red, but the coloring only on the mark, but not on any of the other numbers. Let's change it to the entire view and align it to the center. No tooltip in this case. Perhaps adding a type of unit into the information here. There. So if I show the parameter control here, let's do 2020. It's still trending up. 2019. Which one had a red mark? Row semi-detached. Okay, goes back to 2020. But let's change the this one to the semi-detached. Semi-detached. Oh, single detached. Okay, there. Now you'll see the red trending down mark, but the color not impacting any of the other fields. Okay, that's my 3 ways of creating the cards in Tableau.